Well. Hey guys. So I just popped it right back on because I hit the file size limit right when I was saying, oh, I could probably go for an hour. Ooh, and I said I'm not going to edit these, so this is a part 2. We're back to the rooms. God is a room. It's a space, but he's also a being, in a sense, if you want him to be. But who are you going to call God? Not me, damn you. Why would I even have to say that thing? It sounds a little angry and arrogant. Like, not me, damn you. Note, but not me. People do that all the fucking time. Oh, I would never. Baby. You know? And you look at the micro expressions, they tell you, oh, that's not really real neuro-linguistic programming. Well, who's programming? Not me. I'm programming my damn self using an object-oriented, shape-based thing. I'm not telling myself how to do it anymore. I used to try and I fucked it up. I really did. I fucked up my own brain by programming myself. But then I learned that also had an effect on other programmings. Wordly programmings. Wordly. People tell you things. They say things in certain ways. Connotations are like blades or hammers or... It's like, I'm feeling kind of blue. You say it almost with like a backwards French. Feeling kind of blue. I said it a little overtly and like chunky. They're shaped to words and forms and thoughts. But let's say I said it like that. I'm talking to, I'm at work next to the coworker. She's like, how you doing today? And she gives you a little bit of like a sad, I'm sad for you. And just tiny. And you're just barely even heard it without looking. And so you say, well, I'm feeling kind of blue. Where does that go? It goes, I'm feeling kind of blue. That's how you said it. But over the top, you're like, well, you layer. This is a bad guy move. It's sort of like a mischievous loof, as I call it. Fuel in reverse. Yeah, backing up their fucking toilet. But also, like, if you're having fun playing with guys who know what they're doing, it's fun as hell. 3-card monte is fucking amazing. The aristocrats jokes, all the comedian moves, trickster moves. I love those guys the most. That's why I say that, and no one gets offended. Because there's the most ways that I love those guys. And that's true of just about everybody who really knows them. These are the all... I almost said American. God damn it. No. These are the all human, all male, all female, all alive people in the war. And that's why I'm glad that they roast me enough. But I'm too fucking serious. They love hanging out with me, apparently. Psychically. We have a podcast. It's called The Signal. It's a heart signal. Arjuna Chakra, i.e. Star of David. What? It protects you. All traditions are true as long as they're not full of shit. And they're not built from an origin. It's always the origin of the idea that promotes its fruit. So we don't have to worry about left, right, binary, up, down. How do we get to middle? Not with up and down, unless you're doing up and down and then subtracting the whole fucking thing and throwing it in the trash. You need at least balanced ternary, a third concept, up, down, and flat. Balanced ternary works way the fuck better as a fundamental math node than binary code. And they know that. That's why they're working on quantum computing. They're already done with it. But they're just letting you know. Because they're like, how do we make sure we have full control over this? We study it. And then we tell them we have it. Isn't that smart, don't you think? The eggheads. I'm giving you egghead examples. Goddamn, there's every example. There's rape gangs. Psychic rape gangs. Literally trying to do nothing but just like, ooh, let me just make this dude masturbate all day. Succubus say. Say dude, because it's usually dudes get affected. Women too, though. A lot of that happens with a rape physically. It leaves a wound that the parasites can attach to. There's an ecology of spirit that started from lies, psychesis, but a male. Might as well be for me. I mean, my perspective, I always lead back to a male who tried to rape somebody. But there's few women who do the same. They make choices, though, and they become included in such a way that they're functionally identical to the bad guy. That's a good psychology way to put it. But there's really parasites that move and make choices, mimetic organisms. Everything's fucking true, man. I'm talking to the one out there who's like, I want to believe this, but I'll sound nuts. I'm a game designer. They call me the Prince of Games. It's true, madam. It's so true, by the way. The Prince of Games. So now, with quantum entanglement in the physical world, we're building a nice little structure that's a little different than the originally conceived pillar. It's a structure. It's 3D and more. A matrix of meaning, as Stan Tenen, a Kabbalah researcher, said. He was putting it the way he could, and it was really hard to read because I was like, I can barely reach that right now, and I can't always hold that. I can't reach to that branch of understanding what you're saying about Kabbalah and the letters of Hebrew, the Meru Foundation, ancient Egypt. Well, there's a story here. It's way cooler than any of the Pleiadians and crystal people. What the fuck do you grow in a crystal? A robot, and not a golem. There's a little bit of falsehood in the New Age, but there's also some good intention that gets turned crystal. Crystal's powerful, but like a cracked quartz is way more powerful because magic is just convincing the universe to play along. And the universe has an opinion because there's big beings. Big beings, big forms of consciousness, say Mother Earth style. But imagine all the cross sections of that community. The gods, the egregore. The chaos math, though, what is that? I mean, it's hanky magic. Like, gross. And plus, you're mating the forces, the letters of Hebrew, as per Sefer Yesro says, don't. But hey, dire times. I get that. It can work, but it's so chaotic. It's like shooting off a fucking a Roman candle as a bottle rocket. It's nonsensically. It's like, okay, we're gonna throw one of our little Molotov cocktails real quick. Like, think of all the ways that is. Chaos magics get this shit because they're funny, mostly, until it gets sad. Oof. But there's so many different ways to do chaos magic, and you only write about the parts. I mean, hey, some really good shit's being put out there, but you guys have the tree of life all the damn wrong, because it was a time for using that type of tree during a very revolutionary period. It echoes. French Revolution echoed for a while in the big culture of immortals. Recent memory is relative, and there are relative levels of every damn thing. So yeah, mortal people, human beings die. At least they have, until we figure that part out real quick. Oh, weird, right? Well, don't worry about me. Ignore me so that I can go. If I'm thinking about you thinking about me, we're stuck. But trust us, we've gotten past the point where they can not deny reality anymore. But there's so much here. Every story you've ever heard is somehow about what you think it is, what it means to you. Because, like, we're watching people on a stage, but we're in the audience, right? Well, what if we're on the stage and the audience member is watching us? Wouldn't that be the initial thought and consciousness? I'm alone. Who am I? Where am I? What will I be? Who will I be? And then it says, oh wait, there you are. A mirror has appeared. But the mirror is not just static, because there's some sort of weird independence once the light leaves. So the first one, I call the woman for a minute. Just a minute, because there's something that created both of us above us. That's the bond. Let's leave it out there. So she and I appear, man and wife, and we love each other. Immediately, because, I mean, hey, you're the fitting piece to me. This is obvious. Let me draw for you. I'm going to dance. I want to make some circles and infinity loops. Oh, look at that sexy move. The infinity loop. Oh, what about this one? Hard. Ooh, both of us went in on that. Nice. And then, meanwhile, as we had both left a spot to have separated, becoming detractus. Right? These are all symbols that mean things. Very big things. But also science is true. Everything everyone else loves is also true. So meanwhile, in the back spot behind us, there was a guy who's like, shit, I didn't leave. But he was about to be like, well, I have an opportunity now to go through them and be a child. And then we'll create 4, I guess, somehow, because the symbolism becomes larger. It's not the same symbol after it moves. But the tetractys implies the entire process. 1 to 2 to 3. 3 is the interloper at this point because he's right there in the middle, but he didn't have to be. He could have been passing through as a child. Instead, he's like, nope, I'm going to rape the woman or the man. That's mine. I'm going to eat you both. I want it back so I can make a better move. That's what they thought games were in the beginning. That's why I have to be the Prince of Games against that. But it's a title and I can do it. I'm the Indigo Prince of Games, or the Indigo Knight, or whatever the fuck you want to call me. I'm just one part of a title. I have a title. Honorific given to me, though. Supposedly I have the trophies of Asmodeus and Prince of Games. I have all these trophies of battles I've fought and also lessons I've taught. As we all do, we earn them that way. It's sort of our little underground code for fun. It works with children and lost boys because they're very romantic people, us. And so we like the stories. It's not just my story. But let's say with just take one, fuck it all. Put it aside. I like it, kind of burns my gullet. But it's hard to move sometimes, hard to shift everything off the plate. So all that nonsense about the story, I had to repeat, and I didn't even have anything to push. But I saw it in my mind as a vague form of me doing that in a movie, maybe. Not acting, but like if it was movie physics, that's what I just did. Cartoon physics work in your mind, and mind is a lever on reality because we're playing a cooperative game with the GM. And then that GM decided he wanted to play, but some Chester came in and tried to molest us. There's always some asshole who keeps making that one move of, I'm going to take control of these ones and make them do what I want. They're my men, my boys, my girls. My guys do this. To me, that's the original sin. In a very dark sphere. But starting here, at least, so I can talk about it without weeping. Darkness is darkness. It's this thing that wants to consume. Annexation is the ultimate evil. Cancer is taking over the body. They say it's too much life. Oh, one person's. Now maybe there's a spirit of cancer, because there is. There's many spirits of cancer. Each one identically powerful and omnipotent because it's pointing at it from the same direction. We don't have to corner a word like in that stupid game with Hollyhock fucker. Oh, that was a dumb statement. Hollyhock God, really? Who the fuck's a hollyhock? People know, who know, but fuck you for trying to build that reality with us. You're an asshole. Fact. Trying to limit people, pigeonhole them, and then say, well, the one GM is called. Well, if that's what you want to call yourself, what the fuck can you do with that? Oh, any bullshit you try? No. It doesn't work like that, because we all have to agree to let you pull bullshit, and you got to convince us with your social justice. Ooh, so those guys fucked. But then on the other side of the other trolls, the fucking cucks. People call people cucks, and white nationalists and fucking racists, all equally fucking wrong. But they take virtues. If you don't like what I'm saying, it's not my opinion. It's like the fact. It does not work, it's not effective, and it displays your own fucking motives, so don't act like it doesn't. Who are you trying to fool? You know, you're sitting here right with a dagger in your hand, and I'm like, don't put the dagger down. And you're like, meh. I'm talking to people who just try so fucking hard to prove themselves true when they're lying. It does not occur anymore. I have math to prove it and make it easy for everyone to call it. Not because they don't know. They know, but they're like, how do I put this to make this idiot understand me? It's really what it is. It's not like, I don't get it. They're like, I don't think like you because it's stupid to think like you. Super fact. But also, there's more to it. It's more like, I kind of don't want to hurt this guy's feelings by telling him my way, or he just wouldn't get what I had to say. He totally wouldn't get what I mean. And so they put you in the wrong body. And that sucks. They put us all in various situations to make our virtue a weakness, because they saw our spirit as it came through. Because they're living at least 4 dimensions per flatland, and also E8, that new theory there. Oof, those are lobster pots, and they suck. So we dismantled it. No symmetrical structure that creates a really dumb symmetrical lie group. It's obviously a symmetrical lie. People are now revealing themselves in my life. Oh, that's cool. I hadn't seen that in years. The blood, I'm very pale. Then my blood just kind of like oozes. I don't even know if there could be. I want it to not mean nothing. I just can't think of something to not have it mean. There's a lot of fucked up shit in this world, and most people don't want to face it. It's scary as hell. Scary as hell. It literally was becoming a hell, and Dante wrote about that. The worlds they were trying to create, and by getting us to play that game, I mean worlds. Many worlds, including alternate timelines. Any fucking way you could parse reality as time, they were fucking around, because there was always consciousness. Every new one was equal to the last that was still standing there, except for the last guy who stood there too long and maybe got hurt when he wouldn't choose to be a child. Because that's one side of the story, and it's a different guy. And that guy's cool enough to be like, hey man, you got hurt, but don't assume you got hurt all day. In other words, all day is the entire thing that we were creating, which was Eden, in some sense. We were creating a perfect game to play, together, explore. Not just to play, but like, hey, what can we do with life? Let's create math that becomes structures. Someone started counting them. I'm like, dude, later? Because at some sense, I was there, because I've had that experience again. And when you go there, when you were there, everyone can go back to the source, because we're all equal at that source, and we don't lose, like, it's like a secondhand memory. It's our memory, and we're totally there again, because this is the moment later where we return back to where we were. Subjective timeline does matter, so time always exists, except before we can remember, which is not at all. We made a decision in the singularity. Some of us kept running straight towards their goals. Other people set up camp. Other people were trying to fuck it up the whole time, running on the other side of the map, trying to get in at the other side of time. Start from the end and move to the middle. We were hitting a tipping point where E8 would have been established, and then they would have had flat Earth ready for us, and then fewer degrees of freedom, and because of our mentality, our mind forged manacles. Now, who forged them? We did. Not always. But like, someone hurt you, and you'd be like, I'm weak, and they'd be like, let me help you. Take this little poison. It'll make you feel better. Every fucking sneaky move was the same players. And there are tons of them, but not as many as they hope. In fact, so many that they don't have control of any fucking universe I can think of to ask about. No, big beings played with different physics. So the Ramayana happened in such a different way. They weren't dealing with maybe atoms, yeah, but not molecules. Pixels were different. Voxels were different. Tech was different. And yet it wasn't a computer, because E8 is a lobster pot. And the water was about to hit a tipping point where we wouldn't have had a shot out unless people just abandoned everybody. I bet. I don't even know for real. I never left. But I was there fighting, and people were coming in and out to help. Mentally, a lot of these big beings, and they sit there with moral support. How do we solve this problem? What do you know about this? I have no clue about this type of car. In our minds, I'd be sitting there, try to fix my car maybe, and I'd get some info from the data sphere, or the Orphic field, or whatever layer and frequency of the same damn energy called consciousness. Energy not in the expendable sense, damn you. Presence is really what it is. It's presence that does stuff. We call it fuel, some people. The bad guys call it fuel for burning. But for us, it's force, understanding, equilibration, and liberty. Consciousness itself described in a 4-letter term. So then, they call that da'as in Hebrew, dot in non-Sephardic. But I like Sephardic because it's very truthful. There's always a little bit of mix match stuff going on in even good places. It's not like they're all evil. They just have some cruft on them. They've got some con crud or jet lag, or like the world gets tired and they get hurt. And people pick up small illnesses. So yeah, but some people are just so vehement about keeping it not pure, but like truthful. And those are the ones to listen to. There's a straight light on something. There's indirect light like crazy. That's how you get these left-handed moves, like 3-card money, and how we fight the bad guys at their own rules. They have too many damn rules, and so we can defeat them with that. And we have to learn that by getting a little sick, studying the illness, like an old shaman would pick up a plant and be like, I'm seeing machine elves, which weren't machine elves, by the way, until later. They were sort of kaleidoscopic. There was a lens between. It made them look like they weren't as form-oriented, but they're very close to cartoon physics people. Very close, and they love that part. They're trickster people, mostly. Light-hearted beings, sort of like the Fae. Machine elves now, because EA was making them look like machines. This is our lifetime. Our own lifetime is a microcosm of the entire macrocosm. Each of us. Each and every one of us is as powerful as the other. We stand as tall as we want on the same sphere. We stand on the sphere of the map. And now, worldlings, my wife is a worldling, a 9, they say in the movie. A 9, really. That powerful of a consciousness when fully connected with itself, and not an Ouroboros. Ouroboros is eating its own butthole. Those are the bad guys. A Hydra defeated as an Ouroboros. And it's always the same asshole in the end that they suck at. Ha! Funny jokes on all levels. And holy crap, what the hell does this mean? You better not think it means a damn thing other than go look at yourself and know that you're just this good. You've been helping this whole time, probably. It's all true, whatever you thought about yourself. And Dunning-Kruger effect, for real, definitely exists on both ends. Both ends, even. There are days I didn't know why I was claiming I knew something, but I had to tell the truth. Because I knew I had a card, I didn't know what its context was. And I played the card as I played it. It probably sounded like a lie or a goof or just a crazy statement. But it was still in play on all the levels it was in play. And it had to be played that day with that situation, even. Because there's ways to look at time that allow you to see at least the potential. Maybe they're not lit up on the board over there because they don't have a flashlight there. But in that room, there's something cool if they went there. A darkened map that fog of war, even at that high level, though. The tacticians of this game are looking at the board from above, for real. And they could be living here, working at a retail job. And a lot of people call them Dunning-Kruger type people because they just talk and they're kind of bullshitters, you think. But God, are they talking about the game? You just don't get it. Because they're talking at such a level that we're talking high-level stuff. It's like, hey, man, what if we took the flux capacitor and shoved it up her ass? Like the big Hydra female. I mean, why are you thinking woman? Ooh, there I was. I knew I was, so I knew someone else was. That's called empathy. The trunk of all power is empathy. And these people can reach cognitive empathy, which is why they're fucked and they stuck at 4D. Dimensionality is a type of power, therefore ultimately arbitrary. All eigenvectors are possibly used as Cartesian coordinates. You're going to see some new math from me. New math, but it's actually old math. Expressed in a very good way that incorporates all the new paradigms at once and therefore allows the gates to open again. We're going to get thrown away because it was getting so bad. But this was like way back and also way recent. It always has epicycles on itself. It's self-similar to a large degree. The pilot light is self-similar, but it's not a computer. Because once you run out of the ability to do all the stuff they know we do all the time, like, okay, they know there's alternate universes. This is what I'm shifting down to like mid-nerd because I need to do this in the right way. They know there's alternate universes, fact, because they act on that information and it paints a picture of them knowing how to walk sideways in time and kind of pick up a better possibility space, saying, I'm more lucky here. They do this all the damn time. That's why they win. And we sit there working at retail when we know we're smart. And hey, we do this for a purpose. I did. I learned capitalism and made sure I could preserve it. Like, there were ways to not have to preserve it. The wind conditions that would have allowed it to just be like a little rough for a while, but we'll get it. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that because it seemed harmful and that someone could get hurt real bad. I'm not looking at that level of the board. And it's not fair for me to make a decision from here when I'm actually living there. And also, that's even self-interest, but I don't go there first. I don't have a self-value statement. I just don't have one where I'm like, I must be the, okay then, I'm stuck. And yes, maybe the value statement is negative. It's like I'm stuck feeling like I do all the time. But I met somebody, my wife, and I feel better, so it's level. It's on the verge of being level. It's kind of like, it's on its way up. For real. This is what these past set of videos are. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, @ERService. God damn it, read it, just read it. And probably not. Nothing I say now is directly relevant to the plan because we're done. We won. We won so well that they cannot reform their Hydra. Like, they're disintegrating as we speak. And Leviathan is dying, Behemoth and Zaz. And all the great monsters have fallen. Jormungandr has fallen off the world tree. And the worlds are safe. And we just saved the last fucking one. And so I can get okay. I'm not the only one, damn you. I'm not like the leader. No, I'm not. Ask Ganesha. Ask everybody who the leader should be. It should be the person in the situation. We're equal. You're not more equal, even if you have expertise. Use the expertise, and goddamn it, I'll defer, and so does everybody else. We defer to the people who know the wisdom. A friend of mine named Tim. Really weird for me to mention a local friend. But Tim is a mechanic, and he took a Model T. Genius. And I don't know what his part is in this thing, because I'm not in every damn play. Fuck you. I say to myself, I'm like, why'd I have to say that like that? And when I say fuck you to the point that I felt uncomfortable saying it. Like, I was talking about myself, like, fuck you. I don't know why I feel smarmy. But Tim took a Model T. A real Model T. And he turned it into some sort of dragster or roadster. I don't know what the term is. Because I'm not a car person that way. He's a genius. Everyone's a genius. But he's a genius. Because he's bold enough to say, this is a Model T. There's only so many of them, but I'm going to make this one better. Right now it has no application in society. It's going to sit in a museum. Which is better. Sitting in a museum and getting to look at it when you pay. Or making this thing fly again. That's a genius to me. And here we are. I just mentioned some good friends nearby. He's busy, so don't ask for him to do any damn work for you. He's doing what he wants, and if anybody comes in with enough money, I'm sure he'll do some work. But I'm not asking, to talk to him like that. I appreciate this dude a lot, and he helps people his way. He built a car. That car gives someone their self-esteem. It gives them their vehicle of movement. Everything's a symbol. A car is a body to some people. Merkaba vehicle to others. Terms are terms, and words mean things. And all the things you think they might mean, they probably mean, but not always. Sometimes there's a clumsy throw, a toss. And don't assume the negative. Assume at least the neutral, and then try to get to the positive and understand that most people are on our side. There's just a few assholes left. And they're going to be dealing with some stuff. And yeah, it's not going to be pleasant. But it's not going to be this big old war of destruction and people getting hurt like all over the place for no reason. Because that's what they like, chaos, to gain control with. We want all of us smart people, all of us who work at our own levels, equally vast, by the way. You look at the grass as trees. You stir some coffee, you have a storm in your hands. In a teapot, by all means, and goddamn it, listen to some Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'll tell you. Entertainers are helpful. And every way you can be helpful, be helpful. Don't worry about stepping on anyone's toes, because you'll never do it just right. Just the same way they will. It's just right. I said just right. Because I started coming through the signal of my throat chakra. Talky talk. It's still an open door. But it's also the voice of Metatron when I choose. So I have control. I understand the meaning. I picked up my trophies. I held on to them in my heart. Which is why I kept them in every room, or no. I carry them with me in my heart. My backpack. Back in the game. I'm going to take a few days off, though. I promised a 72-hour furlough. I've been 4 days from retirement so fucking many times. I kept leaving worlds when we were about to win. Nearby timelines, for real. Where the physics worked a little different. Very slightly, but just enough that you'd read the story that you'd read 10 years ago in another world as like the new breakthrough. Remember this stuff. You're there too. We're all there. It's a superhero reboot, we used to joke. We're all doing our superhero shit from now on. Don't ever worry about anyone else's paradigm again, because we have to, in our continuum, accept that other people are also right. They're also true about their perspective, and we don't have to worry about competition, because the more people can do their class abilities and all the shit, the better the game is. And yeah, I'm using the wrong metaphors because I mentioned it to that one person who's been thinking about the whole time. The Hollyhock Goddess. I know you're still here. You'd want to see all of it so you'd be vindicated. Think about that. Talk to you later.